Hey, people, welcome. It's V-Day today, or Valentine's Day if you prefer. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really much care for this holiday. I guess I can respect the idea behind it, like showing your love for the people in your life, but I don't know, there's just something about the color scheme, the corny and tacky gifts that make me feel kind of gross. Maybe it's because I just don't care for girly and feminine stuff or romantic things. I guess I would like it more if people would just emphasize other kinds of love besides just romantic and sexual. I for one think that we should also celebrate friendships and platonic relationships between men and women. Because I think that the world would be a better place if we would stop telling people that they should expect a relationship or sex if they're nice to the opposite gender. But that's a topic for another time. Okay, now it's time to talk about the piece I'm making here. This lady is under the sea. There's some kelp in the background, and I gave her a little crab friend. I had to work on this sketch at a Kroger's because I was super busy and I had to wait in a very long line. So I figured I might as well do something while I'm here. I had to do it while I was standing up because there was no place to sit other than the floor, which is gross and also annoying to other people. I didn't want to get kicked out, so I stood. And in case you're wondering, yes, I do sometimes take my art supplies with me, and I recommend not doing art in a store unless you absolutely have to. In a way, this picture doesn't really have much to do with Valentine's Day in of itself. It doesn't even really have the proper color scheme. I honestly just really wanted to paint a lady with a crab because I've been thinking a lot about the ocean lately and by extension, summer. We've gotten a ton of snow here and it just makes me miss the warm weather even more. So I just focused on the nice, summery things that make me happy. If you're one of those people who've been wishing for snow, go back to Russia, because there's a ton of it there. As for the rest of you, stick around, because I really want to talk about the sea for a bit. The ocean is just so vast and interesting. Did you know that only 5% of it has been properly explored? Yes, despite the fact that our planet is 71% water, we've explored very little of it. We know more about the surface of the moon than we do our own oceans. You'd think that with all we know and all the technology that we have, it'd be a piece of cake. But it really isn't because of the huge amounts of pressure. On land, where I presumably think most of you are, we can only feel 15 pounds per square inch on our bodies because of the air in our atmosphere. That sounds like a lot, but when you compare it to the pressure from the deepest depths, it's like comparing a feather to a car. At the deepest part of the ocean, the Challenger Deep, which is 7 miles deep, the pressure is almost 8 tons per square inch. That might be hard for you to comprehend, so imagine it like balancing 1,800 elephants on your head at all times. And keep in mind that elephants are already huge. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It would kill you instantly if you weren't protected. And it's extremely difficult to build underwater vehicles that can withstand that pressure, but it's definitely not impossible. Because we've managed to discover and document new life forms thriving under all of that immense pressure, darkness, and cold, which is even crazier. The Mariana Trench, the deepest trench in the ocean, is home to some of the most bizarre but amazing creatures. There are different kinds of fish, octopods, arthropods, and more. Here are some of my favorites. Dragonfish live pretty deep in the Mariana Trench, and they are really cool looking with those jaws of theirs. They're also bioluminescent, which means that they produce their own light to attract prey and mates. Really neat creature. Dumbo octopi are really cute, but they are very tough for living in such a harsh environment. They're characterized by their ear-like fins above their eyes. They're also the only known type of octopodes to not have an ink sac, because they live at such deep depths and there are very few predators, but if it needs to get away, it can simply camouflage itself. And finally, we have snailfish, the deepest living fish discovered so far. They live so deep in the ocean that they literally become liquid when they reach the surface, which makes it really difficult for scientists to study them. But we do know that snailfish have special proteins that prevent them from freezing into cold, dark waters. They also have a weird anatomy which helps them survive their habitats. Their bones aren't completely ossified, and their muscles don't have much fat, for example. What an interesting fish. And there is so much more that we have yet to find. You want to know what I think the best part of this is? God didn't have to add any life to the deepest part of the ocean, but he did anyway. The bottom of the ocean is so cold, heavy, and dark. I mean, it's harder to get to the bottom of the Challenger Deep than it is to do a spacewalk. But he knew that we were capable of doing so much, and he gave us a reward for persevering, the discovery of life in such harsh conditions. He just loves us that much. I'm glad that he didn't make our planet half-heartedly. He didn't just flick a bunch of critters on the surface of the earth and say, good enough. That's the kind of love I want to celebrate today. Love isn't a feeling, it's an action. And I'm so grateful God shows it through his creations. We can reciprocate that love by praising and singing to him, giving him an offering to show our appreciation, and just spending time with him. Not just on certain days, but every day. And I want to show my appreciation for all of you who have supported me. This painting is made for you guys to enjoy. You can get a better look at it in my shop or my Facebook page. If you want to buy a print of it for yourself or for someone else, you can do so at my shop, which will be in the description below. Also, if you buy any print in my shop, you will receive a free holiday card in the mail with my art on it. It'll have a handwritten message inside of it from me. It'll just be me saying thank you for buying my art and maybe even giving you a word of knowledge if the Lord tells me to. I just sent out some Valentine's Day cards to some of my fans, and it's a little too late to be sending out more of them. But you can still get a free St. Patrick's Day card if you buy anything before March 5th. You don't even need to keep purchasing any of my work. You can just buy a super cheap print once, and I'll still keep sending you cards until you tell me to stop. Because I really appreciate the support, and it makes me feel good to know that people actually want my work. Although it might be a problem if one of my buyers moved to a different address, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Anyway, the links will all be in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching and have a wonderful Valentine's Day.